They say marriage is about finding your other half. What they don't tell you is sometimes that other half turns out to be a complete stranger who's been wearing a mask for 3 years. I'm Ethan Carter, 33, corporate lawyer, and apparently the biggest fool in Chicago. Before we dive deeper into this story, I have one small request. Please subscribe, drop a like, comment, and hit that hype button to boost this channel so more people can discover these incredible Reddit stories. Our love was Instagrammable until the filter slipped. I should have seen it coming when Olivia started having more work emergencies than the fire department. My wife, the ambitious fashion designer with her perfectly curated life, had been staying late at the studio every night for 2 months. Her phone buzzed constantly with urgent client calls that she'd take in the other room, speaking in hushed, intimate tones that definitely weren't about hemlines and fabric swatches. "Ethan, you just don't understand the fashion world," she'd say, rolling her eyes when I'd suggest we spend an evening together. "This business requires total dedication." Right. Total dedication to Lucas Mason, her married business partner with the vintage Porsche and gym-sculpted ego. The morning everything unraveled started like any other. Olivia was rushing around our upscale apartment, throwing designer clothes into her oversized handbag while talking rapidly on her phone. "No, Tessa, tell him I can't meet until after lunch. I have that thing with—" "Yes, that thing." She glanced at me nervously. "We'll discuss the new designs then." Tessa, her gossipy assistant who treated me like furniture, was probably coordinating more than just business meetings. After Olivia left, I sat at our granite kitchen counter, staring at my coffee and wondering when I'd become a supporting character in my own marriage. That's when her phone buzzed on the counter, her personal phone, the one she'd forgotten in her rush. The text was from Lucas. "Can't wait to have you all to myself tonight. Your husband really is as clueless as you said." My hands went numb. 3 years of marriage, and I was clueless. I scrolled up, finding months of messages that painted a picture of two people who found my existence amusing at best, pathetic at worst. "He's too boring to notice anything except his spreadsheets," Olivia had written. "Does he still think you're working late on designs?" Lucas had replied with laughing emojis. Poor Ethan. He actually asked if I wanted to go to that new restaurant downtown. I told him I was too busy. "Meanwhile, you and I will be there tomorrow night." I'd always wanted to be a supporting character in my own marriage, apparently. My phone rang. Olivia's panicked voice. "Ethan, I think I left my phone." "I'm not yours anymore," I said calmly. "Don't call me, and don't bother coming home tonight, or ever." I hung up, powered off my phone, and started packing, one duffel bag. That's all I needed from 3 years of picture-perfect marriage. I left a note on our bed. "I'm done. Your phone told me everything I needed to know. Don't contact me." Walking out into the rainy Chicago evening, I felt something I hadn't experienced in months. Freedom. My phone, when I finally turned it back on, had 53 missed calls from Olivia and Tessa. I ignored every single one. If this was a romantic comedy, I'd be on a bridge right now, contemplating my choices. But I'm too smart to drown for someone who can't swim in loyalty. My new studio apartment was a far cry from our upscale place, but it was mine. No designer furniture, no Instagram-worthy lighting, just honest space that didn't lie to me. Aaron Mitchell, my best friend and private investigator, sat across from me in the city's seediest bar, nursing a beer and shaking his head. "You just walked out? No screaming, no throwing things, no dramatic confrontation?" "What's the point? She made her choice. I made mine." Aaron's weathered face split into a grin. "You magnificent bastard. She's probably losing her mind right now." He wasn't wrong. My phone continued buzzing with increasingly desperate messages from Olivia. "Please call me. We need to talk. It's not what you think. I can explain everything." "Want me to dig up some dirt on Loverboy?" Aaron asked. "Professional curiosity. Just the facts. I want to know exactly who I'm dealing with." 3 days later, Aaron returned with a manila folder that would change everything. Lucas Mason, 35, married to Marissa for 7 years. His business is hemorrhaging money, and guess who his biggest client is? Your old law firm. He's been using Olivia's connections, meaning you, to keep his company afloat. The photos were damning. Lucas and Olivia at expensive restaurants, her apartment building, his car. But the audio recordings Aaron had managed to capture were pure gold. "He's such a pushover." Olivia's voice, crystal clear from their conversation at an upscale wine bar. "Ethan actually thinks I'm working late. He even offered to bring me dinner once. Can you imagine? Like I want him showing up and cramping our style." Tessa's voice. "Doesn't he suspect anything?" "Please. He's too boring to be suspicious. Besides, he's so grateful to have me, he'd never question anything I do. What about Lucas's wife? Marissa? She's even more clueless. Poor thing actually thinks her husband is working late too. We're doing them a favor, really. They're both too dull for words. Aaron slid another recording device across the table. This one's from last night, outside Lucas's gym. Lucas's voice cocky and loud. I'm telling you, man, she's incredible. And the best part? Her husband's been paying for everything. The dinners, the hotels, even the jewelry I give her. His money, my pleasure. His gym buddies laughed. What if he finds out? What's he going to do? Guy's a lawyer, not a fighter. Besides, Olivia's got him so whipped, he'd probably apologize to me. I closed the folder. Aaron, how do you feel about helping me destroy two people's lives without breaking a single law? His grin was predatory. I thought you'd never ask. Our plan was simple. Use their own arrogance against them. No violence, no illegal activities, just pure, calculated exposure of who they really were. Olivia's got that big fashion show next week, I said. All her potential clients, sponsors, and investors will be there. And Lucas's business is hanging by a thread. One phone call to your old firm. Could cut that thread completely. We spent the next hour planning their downfall with the precision of a military operation. Every detail, every contingency, every possible escape route they might try to use. My phone buzzed again. Another message from Olivia. Ethan, please, I love you. We can work this out. I showed it to Aaron. Think she means it? I think she means she loves your bank account and the connections you provided. But Ethan, she's about to learn that love and loyalty aren't the same thing. I turned off my phone. The time for talking was over. Olivia's fashion show was the event of the season. The venue buzzed with Chicago's elite, fashion bloggers, and potential investors. I watched from across the street as guests in designer clothing filed into the converted warehouse space. Aaron's voice crackled through my earpiece. Audio system is ready. Video feed is uploaded. You sure about this? She wanted a show. Let's give her one. I'd spent the week preparing. The video compilation was devastating. Lucas and Olivia together, their cruel conversations about me and Marissa, and Olivia's admission that she was using me financially. The audio was even worse. Hours of them mocking their spouses, planning their deception, and laughing about how stupid we were. At exactly 8:30, as Olivia took the stage to address her audience, I pressed send. The venue's sound system, which Aaron had hacked earlier, suddenly filled with Olivia's voice. He's such a pushover. Ethan actually thinks I'm working late. The crowd fell silent. Olivia froze at the podium, her face draining of color. Tessa's voice followed. Doesn't he suspect anything? Please. He's too boring to be suspicious. The large screens flanking the stage, meant to display her fashion designs, now showed photos of her and Lucas in intimate embraces, followed by the video of them trash-talking their spouses. Lucas's voice boomed through the speakers. Her husband's been paying for everything. His money, my pleasure. The audience erupted. Phones came out, recording everything. Olivia's mother, Judith, stood up in the front row, her face a mask of horror and rage. Olivia Marie Carter, she screamed. How dare you? Sponsors began walking out. Fashion bloggers frantically typed on their phones. The gossip mill of Chicago's elite was grinding at full speed, and Olivia was caught in its gears. But I wasn't done. At Lucas's gym, Aaron was executing Phase 2. Lucas arrived for his usual evening workout to find his precious Porsche being towed. Hey, what the hell are you doing with my car? The tow truck driver, actually Aaron's cousin, shrugged. Anonymous tip about unpaid parking tickets. You'll need to sort it out downtown. While Lucas argued with the fake tow truck driver, Aaron slipped a dead fish into the car's air conditioning system. By the time Lucas got his car back, the smell would be unforgettable. Phase 3 was already in motion. I'd called my former law firm that afternoon. Mr. Peterson, it's Ethan Carter. I have some information about Lucas Mason's company that you might find interesting. The evidence of Lucas's financial instability, combined with the revelation of his affair and the public scandal, was enough. By the time Olivia's fashion show was descending into chaos, Lucas was receiving a call that his biggest client was terminating their contract immediately. My phone rang. Aaron's voice was gleeful. Lucas just punched a locker. I think he broke his hand. And Olivia. Last I saw, her mother was dragging her out the back exit while screaming about family shame. Tessa tried to follow, but Judith told her to stay away from her daughter. I walked home through the Chicago night, feeling lighter than I had in months. This was just the beginning. The next morning, every gossip blog and fashion website in the city was running the story. Fashion designers' double life exposed. Cheating scandal rocks Chicago elite. Designer's husband's revenge goes viral. The video had been shared thousands of times. Olivia and Lucas were the most talked about people in Chicago, and not in a good way. My phone finally rang with a number I recognized. Olivia's voice was hoarse from crying. "Ethan, please, we need to talk." "No," I said calmly. "We really don't. I can explain." "You already did. The whole city heard your explanation. That recording was taken out of context." "Which part? The part where you called me boring, or the part where you laughed about spending my money on your boyfriend?" She was sobbing now. "Please, I'll do anything. I love you." "No, Olivia. You love what I provided. There's a difference." I hung up and blocked her number, but I wasn't finished with either of them yet. The aftermath was swift and brutal. Olivia's fashion line collapsed overnight as sponsors pulled funding and clients canceled orders. Lucas's company went bankrupt within a week, unable to survive without my former law firm's contract. But they weren't broken yet, and I wasn't satisfied. Aaron met me at our usual dive bar, grinning like a shark. "Marissa Mason wants to meet with you." Lucas's wife was nothing like I'd expected. Where Olivia was all flash and designer labels, Marissa was understated elegance. She sat across from me in a quiet coffee shop, her wedding ring notably absent. "I want to thank you," she said quietly. "I've suspected for months, but I could never prove it." "I'm sorry you had to find out this way." She shook her head. "I'm not. Lucas has been lying to me for years about everything. Money, work, other women. You did me a favor." "Other women?" Her smile was bitter. "Olivia wasn't his first affair, just his most public one." She slid a manila envelope across the table. "Lucas has been hiding assets, preparing to divorce me and leave me with nothing. I've been documenting everything with my lawyer." "Why are you telling me this?" "Because I want them both to lose everything, just like they planned for us to lose everything." The envelope contained bank records, emails, and legal documents that painted Lucas as an even worse person than I'd imagined. He'd been systematically draining their joint accounts, hiding money in offshore accounts, and planning to abandon Marissa once his business was stable enough. "There's more," Marissa said. "Olivia's been stealing designs from young artists, claiming them as her own. I have proof." The next phase of our revenge was the most satisfying yet. While Lucas and Olivia tried desperately to salvage their reputations, we systematically destroyed any chance of their recovery. The design theft story broke first. 3 young artists came forward with proof that Olivia had stolen their work, backed by documentation Marissa had provided. The fashion world, already disgusted by the affair scandal, turned completely against her. Lucas faced even worse consequences. Marissa's divorce filing included charges of financial fraud and asset hiding. His remaining business contacts abandoned him, and his gym buddies stopped returning his calls after Aaron anonymously sent them recordings of Lucas mocking them behind their backs. But they still weren't completely broken, and I wanted them destroyed. The opportunity came when they made a desperate, stupid mistake. The storm had been building all day, and by evening, Chicago was being lashed by wind and rain. I was in my apartment, reviewing legal documents for work, when I heard the sound of my door being forced open. Lucas stumbled in first, soaked and wild-eyed, followed by Olivia. Both looked like they hadn't slept in days. "You son of a bitch!" Lucas snarled, advancing toward me. You destroyed everything." I stood slowly, keeping my hands visible. Aaron had insisted I install security cameras after their first few threatening phone calls, and everything was being recorded. "I didn't destroy anything," I said calmly. "I just showed people who you really are." Olivia stepped forward, her designer clothes wrinkled and stained. "Ethan, please. We can work this out. I made a mistake, but we can fix this." "The only mistake you made was getting caught." Lucas's face was red with rage. "You think you're so smart? You think you won?" "I think I'm free, and that's all I ever wanted." "We're going to ruin you," he threatened, pulling out his phone. "I'm calling the police right now. Breaking and entering, harassment, stalking." I laughed. "With what evidence? You broke into my apartment. My security cameras are recording everything, and I have hours of audio of you two planning to destroy your spouses." Olivia tried a different approach, moving closer with tears in her eyes. "Ethan, I know I hurt you, but deep down, you know I love you. We can start over. I'll leave Lucas, we'll move away, begin fresh." "You love me?" I pulled out my phone and played a recording. Her voice filled the room. "He's too boring to be suspicious. Besides, he's so grateful to have me, he'd never question anything I do." Her face crumpled. "That was taken out of context." "No, Olivia. That was the truth. Finally." Lucas lunged at me, but 3 years of marriage to his girlfriend had taught me to expect his moves. I stepped aside and he crashed into my coffee table. "You want to know what's funny?" I said, helping him up with mock concern. "I actually started this just wanting you both to leave me alone, but you kept pushing, kept threatening, kept trying to make me the villain in your story." My phone buzzed. Aaron's text. "Live stream is active. You've got about 50 viewers and climbing." I'd forgotten about the emergency protocol we'd set up. My security system automatically streamed to social media when it detected multiple intruders. "The beautiful thing about social media," I continued, knowing we were being broadcast live, "is that it never forgets. And right now, everyone can see you breaking into my apartment, threatening me, and hearing exactly what kind of people you are." Olivia noticed the red light on my security camera. "Oh God, are we being recorded?" "Live streamed, actually. Say hello to Chicago." Lucas made another move toward me, and I calmly opened a bottle of soda, shaking it first, then sprayed it all over him. He slipped on the wet floor and went down hard. "You know what the funniest part is?" I said, addressing both the camera and my unwelcome guests. "You both thought you were so clever, using me for money, connections, stability, while you had your fun on the side. But you were never smart enough to realize that boring, predictable people like me, we notice everything. We just choose our battles carefully." The viewer count on the stream was climbing rapidly. Aaron's texts were coming in fast. 300 viewers. 500. This is going viral. Olivia was sobbing now, mascara streaming down her face. "Please turn off the camera. Please, I'll do anything." "Anything? How about the truth? Tell everyone watching why you really married me." I can't." "Then I'll tell them." I looked directly into the camera. "Ladies and gentlemen, my wife married me because I was stable, financially secure, and had connections in the legal world that could help her career. She never loved me. She loved what I could provide." Lucas struggled to his feet, still dripping with soda. "You're pathetic, man. Even now, even after everything, you're still the same boring loser." The apartment door burst open. Aaron entered with 2 police officers and Marissa Mason. "Officers," I said calmly. "These 2 individuals broke into my apartment and threatened me. Everything's been recorded and live streamed." One of the officers looked at his phone. "Sir, are you aware this stream has over 2,000 viewers?" "I am now." Marissa stepped forward, looking at her soon-to-be ex-husband with disgust. "Lucas, you're pathetic. Breaking into someone's home? This is a new low, even for you." She turned to Olivia. "And you. I actually felt sorry for you until I learned about the other women. Yes, I know about Jennifer and Sandra and the girl from his gym. You weren't special. You were just convenient." Olivia's face went white. "Other women?" Lucas's expression shifted to panic. "Marissa, that's not..." "True. I have photos, Lucas, and phone records, and bank statements showing you paid for hotel rooms with at least 6 different women over the past 2 years." The live stream viewer count hit 5,000. Comments were pouring in, and none of them were sympathetic to Lucas or Olivia. Aaron stepped forward with a grin. "Ethan, I think your audience wants to hear your final thoughts." I looked into the camera one last time. Here's what I learned. When someone shows you who they are, believe them. When they lie to you, deceive you, and mock you behind your back, don't waste time trying to fix them. Just walk away and let them destroy themselves. I turned to Olivia and Lucas, both now in handcuffs. "You wanted to ruin me? Congratulations, you've ruined yourselves instead." As the police led them away, Olivia turned back one last time. "Ethan, please." "Goodbye, Olivia. Enjoy explaining this to your mother." The door closed behind them. The storm outside was finally breaking, and through my window I could see the first hints of clear sky. Aaron clapped me on the shoulder. 10,000 viewers and climbing. You're officially Chicago's most popular revenge story." I turned off the stream and poured myself a drink. You know what's funny? I feel sorry for them. Sorry, after everything they did? They're going to spend the rest of their lives knowing that everyone saw who they really are. That's a prison worse than anything a court could impose. 6 months later, I received divorce papers that Olivia had signed without contest. Lucas was facing fraud charges and had lost everything in the divorce. Olivia had moved back in with her mother and was working at a department store. I kept my apartment, started dating a teacher named Sarah who thought my story was hilarious, and learned that sometimes the best revenge is simply letting people destroy themselves while the whole world watches. Funny thing about fashion, sometimes karma never goes out of style.